Yeah, it's infamous Sean Shaw. Last who said the 1,000 mile journey begins with one single step. We back on bad writing. Let's get into it. We're talking about the Eternals, or as I like to call it, wow, these people really don't read comic books. First and foremost, I actually, as a person who writes comic books, know the Eternals. How do I know them? I saw that Neil Gaiman movie, that DVD. No, it's irritating. I'm sorry about that. I saw that. I know about them. I know about their story, and I must say, they were very hard to adapt in the first place. The Eternals were very hard to adapt in the first place. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's hard. That's why I've always wanted them to go with Inhumans. I know they had that bullshit deal all the way back in the past with Disney and what you call it, probably some like Disney and what you call it, but who cares about that? Go from a story perspective. It's easier to introduce to the Inhumans, not because they can replace the X-Men, but because they're just understandable. Here's the thing about Eternals: it feels like a movie that was pre-written about this whole little like life and all this liberty, and then they just threw a bunch of Marvel stuff and they're like, all right, we got to throw a Marvel reference here and there. I gotta be real. People are arguing Marvel movies are not art. One, movies are art. The whole Marvel movies are not art argument boils down to one thing. People don't buy comic books still. People don't respect comic books. They're a very niche market. Very few people buy and read comic books. That's just the facts. Just look at the sales. And which what they've been right now, I understand why, but I'm talking about in general. People have not like comic books have never done massively well like that. That's because it's a niche market. And to adapt this is very much too hard. It was very much too hard, but not only that, this movie, let's talk about the Marvel stuff. It felt like this movie was an Avengers 5 level movie. Why? Because there's Celestial coming out the goddamn Earth. Why would that not be a reason to call the Avengers? And two, another thing, the Eternal, it could have been like a movie with the Avengers versus the Eternals, where you could have simply had like the Eternals, like, we're bad guys. We're doing this because we have to. Kind of like i.e. Silver Surfer to Galactus. I know. That may be hard to do, but like you could easily introduce, like you could easily start to bring in Silver Surfer and Galactus. Because like imagine this: a Celestial is like, "Yo, I want planet Earth to be born," and the Avengers stop it. And then Galactus is like, "Somebody stopped a Celestial from being born. Let me check out this planet. It must be formidable and it must be very good to eat." Send out Harold, but that's far in the future. Think about like just the Avengers versus the Eternals, in which you could have the generic, some of us are good, some of us are bad, some of us are on their side, some of us are not. I'm sorry, I keep looking. It's like this shit in my hair. Hell no, I'm shaving this bitch soon. Don't worry about that. Mm, uh, that's just like it could have been very simple. Would have had a lot of characters, yes, but it could have been fleshed out very well. Now let's get into why this movie's bad. Too many characters, and all of them have vague and ambiguous powers. Can you name me like the speed chick? You can name that. Icarus, she can fly and shoot lasers. Now, what does everyone else do? Athena, she's a warrior. She can create weapons. Okay, it's pretty generic. Gilgamesh, well, I actually like. He's just kind of big and strong and kind of can create weapons. All right. Tech Boy, Fastos, he can create weapons. Congo, he can shoot fingers. Speaking of which, he actually plays Congo. I gotta say, he's likable, very likable, but he's not the comedy man. He's the straight man, like a mofo. You could just look at him and tell he's a straight man. Yo, yeah, he's a straight man of comedy. It's like he want his comedy to come out like if he would just like, don't be funny, be real. His comedy would come out 10 times better. And also the camera dude following around, I actually really like that guy. Those two characters, I gotta say, I'm surprised. I really like those guys. Them also like Gilgamesh. I feel like Sprite should have been done. Like Sprite should have been the main character. You could have easily replaced Cersei with Sprite, and then be like, "Some wow, I'm just a like she has that pressure of why am I this way?" But also like Sprite, she was just very relatable. She was very relatable, and also you let's see what else the hell the movie felt like a giant ass melodrama instead of a comic book movie. I hated that. It felt like, oh, we're on Earth, we're sad. Oh, we're on Earth, we're sad. And the funny thing is, they think they're getting a sequel. I'd be surprised if they do. This movie ain't getting a sequel. If it gets a sequel, I'd be surprised. But guess what it's going to be about? Their past lives. And like, are your past lives worthy? You think we want to sit through another 2 hour melodrama? That movie was like 2.5 hours, and it was so melodramatic. It was like, oh, we're humans, and humans are bad, and we can do bad. It's like, nigga, I don't come here to watch. I don't want to watch that shit. I want to watch comic book movies. I want to have fun. While we're on the subject, it's the same thing with Thor Ragnarok. I didn't like Thor Ragnarok because I actually take the movie serious. I actually take the movie serious. It's not a joke to me. It's like every 5 seconds you can't have a joke. This isn't some like, oh, I just sit like, it's like Thor Ragnarok and Eternals have the same problem. It feels like the actors and the director like has the actors turn to the camera and say, you know, it's a comic book movie, right? This is a comic book movie. We're in a comic book movie. You know what a comic book movie? We're in a comic book movie. And it's like, why can you take that serious? How can you take that serious? It's a comic book movie, Romy. You can't take that shit serious. Um, let's see. Ooh, I already touched on the Avengers. I very much would have. It would have been very some way, some stupid ass way. The Deviant should have tried to take over the Celestial. Been like some. Now I'm the Celestial. Ha ha ha. We have to stop it now. Simple shit. This is very simple writing. It's not that right. It's not that hard to write a good story. I don't know what the hell they were doing in this movie, but it was like very boring. Excuse me. Could have joined. Really, I don't have much. Um, but this movie was very melodramatic, very boring. Uh, that's actually been a lot of like really the MCU this year. I didn't watch WandaVision for the sheer fact that it felt like someone's pet project of like, I want to have fun and put the Marvel name on it. I did watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was very boring. I only watched it because, well, why did I watch that? That's a very good question. It had the best concept to me, which is surprising. I like the cosmic shit more, but they had the best concept to me. Didn't watch Loki because guess what? For what? It just felt like someone's pet project, and from what I heard, it sounded like a pet project. Hawkeye, I gotta be real, didn't like Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run. I thought it was pretty boring. I like Hawkeye as a weapon, as an actual weapon, going out on missions and doing fun things. I don't like him hanging around with Pizza Dog and Kate Bishop. That was pretty boring. And apparently the show did the same thing. Eternals is bad. Haven't seen Black Widow because I'm like, she's dead. Why would I watch that? And Shang-Chi was pretty boring. Why was Shang-Chi boring? I didn't write a review for that one, but it was just like, Shang-Chi was kind of, I'll be real. I really want Iron Fist. So, and all in all, Marvel's fucking up. I see why people aren't excited for it. I did see Spider-Man 3. I gotta rewatch that movie. I have to do another separate review on that. But yeah, Eternals is boring. You guys have a good night. Be champions, not chumps.